Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going full-on detective, cracking open the case file on one of the biggest questions in gaming right now. When is the next Battlefield game actually coming out? Let's sift through the evidence and see what we can find.
I mean, you can feel it, right? The hype for the next chapter in this legendary series is just massive. With EA and DICE dropping little hints here and there, the whole community is buzzing with excitement. And honestly, so are we.
Okay, so to get to the bottom of this, we've got to build our case. We're going to look at everything, the official statements, the historical patterns, and yeah, even those juicy insider whispers, to try and piece together a solid timeline. First things first, let's start with the hard evidence. What have the developers, EA and DICE, actually gone on record and said? This is our ground zero. So while EA hasn't given us a specific calendar date just yet, the consensus from industry experts, like the folks over at GameSpot, is pointing squarely at October or November. And that makes sense, right? It fits the series' classic launch window, dropping right before the big holiday season.
But hold on, it's not quite that simple. You've got these huge potential roadblocks that could throw a wrench in the works. The pandemic, for one, has definitely changed how studios operate. And let's be real, the technical challenge of building a game on this scale is always a major factor.
All right, let's switch gears and do a little bit of forensic analysis. Sometimes the best clues about the future are hiding in the past. We're going to look at the franchise's own release history to see if we can spot a pattern.
So, take a look at the last few major releases. We had Battlefield 1 back in 2016, then Battlefield V in 2018, and Battlefield 2042 in 2021. When you lay it out like this, a pretty clear rhythm starts to show up.
And what jumps out right away? It's that consistent 2 to 3 year gap. That seems to be the sweet spot for DICE. Enough time to build, test, and polish these absolutely gigantic games before they're ready for us. So if history is anything to go by, and with these big franchises it usually is, this pattern gives us a really strong logical window. We can pretty reasonably bet on seeing the next major installment sometime between late 2023 and the end of 2024. Okay, now we're heading into the murky waters, which is often the most exciting part of the investigation, the world of leaks and rumors. This is where we have to be super careful about what we choose to believe. You know, as an investigator, you've got to know how to tell fact from fiction. Official news from EA and DICE, that's our solid confirmed evidence. But these unofficial rumors, they're like anonymous tips. Could be a huge break in the case, or they could send you down a total rabbit hole. Let's break it down. Leaks from established industry insiders, they tend to have a pretty solid track record. Leaked documents are more of a mixed bag. They can be legit or not, but random posts on gaming forums, you gotta take those with a huge grain of salt, because they're often just pure guesswork. So, after reviewing the official statements, digging into the historical data, and listening to the chatter, it really seems like a launch is just over the horizon. So, with all that evidence on the table, what can you do right now to get ready for deployment? We've got 3 key moves you can make to ensure you're ready to hit the ground running on day 1. Let's get into it. First up, your battle station. Based on what we've seen from past games, this is probably the kind of rig you'll need at a minimum. You'll want at least this much juice to handle those beautiful next-gen graphics, and of course, the massive, chaotic battles the series is famous for. Next, you'll want to keep your eyes glued to the official EA website for a chance to get into the beta. It usually kicks off a few weeks before the full release, and it's hands down your best shot to play early and help the devs squash some bugs. And finally, pre-ordering. It's usually the fastest way to guarantee you're playing on day 1. Plus, it almost always comes with some sweet bonus gear, like exclusive weapon skins for being one of the first in line. So there you have it. The case file is laid out. We've looked at the official word, we've analyzed the release patterns, and we've sifted through the rumors. While the exact date is still under wraps, all the evidence is pointing to a release that's really not too far away. But at the end of the day, after all this digging, the biggest question isn't just when it's coming. It's whether it will deliver that unforgettable, epic, only in Battlefield experience that we're all waiting for. I guess only time will tell.